What has undermined African unity? Several attempts have been made to unite African people, but all in all, has completely failed. What is it that has made African unity difficult to achieve? This is indicated in several protocols, several treaties made by African leaders on different intervals at different levels. You talk of continental level or regional level, like East African Community, like SADC. All these have different protocols, but nothing you can see on the ground. Take an example of continental level, the Maputo Declaration, the Vision 200, Vision 263 Agenda 263 of African Union, and others, and so many, minus the benefits of economic integration, like larger markets, investment, security, industrialization and value addition, development of human resource through interaction. All these are seen. But what is it? What has made it very hard to achieve if we know that it is through economic integration that we can achieve bigger markets for our produce, that we can achieve investment through combined efforts and resources. Africa can start owning things, unlike today when Africa owns nothing. Surprisingly, Africa owns nothing. You can look at around Africa, all these telecoms in your countries there, the telecom, the MTN, the Tigo, the Vodacom, construction companies, the airlines, or what, everything is owned by foreigners. Africa owns nothing. It's through integration that we can combine resources and start owning things. Yes, that's the only salvation. So what is it? What has made Africa remain disunited? But I think one of the factors is our leaders. Our leaders have deliberately refused because of greed and selfishness. They think if we unite, then they are going to lose the power. But it's not a surprise. Remember in 1964, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah warned them. He was warning in every meeting, warning African leaders that they should unite immediately before they are addicted of power. And Kwame was right. They are now addicted of 20-gun salutes. They are addicted of these big, huge convoys. They are addicted of luxury life. They are addicted of these national anthems and salutes. And that's why Africa is still disunited. And when you talk about African unity, of course, there is a foreigner hand. Those who play behind the curtains with some of the leaders to go through very thoroughly on the African unity. But even at the regional level, we have failed completely. I think among these blocks, East Africa was showing seriousness, but now it is declining. You can see it. Tanzania is not showing the interest. Kenya is a bit, and Uganda, they are a bit together. Rwanda, you cannot know its disease. Burundi, is a sick man. And the whole community is not moving. So what is it? It's because of selfishness of these leaders. This is what Kwame was talking about. They are greedy. They are selfish. But sometimes I ask myself, do we know what we want? Do we know what is best on our interest? We are not there. We are not there at all. If you look at the blunders we do, Africa is the only continent that produces goods which it does not consume. We don't consume what we produce. That's where that's a dilemma. We undermine our produce that they are cheap. We admire second-hand clothes from dead bodies of people we don't know from Italy. This is Africa. From dead bodies, second-hand, and these leaders, they're there. They are washing. And you hear in the reports that industries are coming up. Now, are those industries going to survive this competition from second hand? If our textile stand? Why can't? What are those second hand doing in our markets? Imagine we still import toothpicks. Africa imports toothpicks. Africa imports fish from China. Go to Rwanda, go to Kenya, go to. They import fish from China, eggs from Brazil, milk powder from Denmark and Holland. Go to Uganda. You will meet milk powder in supermarkets. But what's wrong with Africa? What's wrong with us? Where did the rain start beating us? Why can't we think like other people? Why do we develop the economies of others? And at the end of the day, we start lamenting that we were colonized. This is the colonization which is more worse than the other one, because this is mental. Our minds are colonized. That's why our balance of trade cannot balance ever. We are addicted of imports. If we don't import, we don't feel comfortable. We must do what it takes to import so that our balance can remain in balance. This is how we are. Imagine matches. We import matches. We import toilet papers. Can you imagine? Africa owns nothing. And at the end of the day, we start lamentations that they don't like us. Why should they? Do we deserve to be liked anyhow? Anyhow? People who think that way, who cannot consume what they produce and admire and promote it, who should love you? Actually, we are not supposed to be here on this earth. It's a shame. Second-hand clothes from Italy, from Denmark. This is the only continent that depends plans based on the aid. Yes. But I want to tell you the truth. Take an example of Turkey. We all worship today. This Turkey. Remember in 1829, it was called a sick man of Europe, the Ottoman Empire. Did they use magic? The answer is no. They decided once and they said, no, we can't be called sick man of Europe again. They worked for it. This China, we see, we worship every day. We own debt. It was poor like any other poor country. But you ask them now. They have a plan of 100 years ahead. But for us, we do we know tomorrow? You ask your neighbor and see the plan he has for tomorrow. He will tell you he does not know. It's God who knows. That's how Africans are. That's how we are. We don't know what we want. We don't know what we want to be in the future. If you can import eggs, rice, sugar from Pakistan and Brazil, imagine. And Kenya produce sugar, Uganda produce sugar, Rwanda produce milk, but you can't import, you can't buy from there because it's from Africa, it's cheap. You are in a high class. When you are a working class, then you are very high, even in consumption. Your consumption must go high. We need to change our thinking. First of all, we need to change our thinking if we want to catch up and be like other continents. Without integration, Africa is going nowhere. Is not going anywhere. 4, integration is not about talks or giving wrong speeches. Integration is about actions. Is about policy making. Is about interaction. Is about exchange of ideas. Integration is about free movement of goods. Integration is about free movement of people. Integration is about combined resources for investment. Integration means free movement of human resource and development. This Japan you see has no any natural resource. It's only its people. You can see how Japan is. It invested in her own resource, which is human resource. You search, Japan does not produce all these natural minerals. But it's very developed country now. It gives us road. We survive on Japan. If Prime Minister calls these presidents, all of them, they must go there in the morning to beg. Take an example of Singapore, Malaysia, all these countries, they have developed without begging. They don't own anything. These are the countries in almost the desert, in highlands, without minerals. But all 55 countries in Africa, they are beggars. All of them with 55 national anthems, with 55 passports. They are all beggars. That's the commonality. Others, they are known of, they are competing. They are competing. Russia is competing with America. America is competing with China. But for us, we are here watching, crossing borders, fighting endless wars, plotting one another, fighting border conflict, fighting tribes, internal tribes, promoting religious differences instead of serving our people, protecting our people against all evils, against abuse. We tear gas them every day. We torture them. We abuse them. We kill them. We murder them. We are still murdering ourselves, killing one another. That's how Africa is. And in the morning, we meet, we talk. Long speeches about integration. East African community. Which community are you talking about when you are importing sugar from Pakistan? Which economic integration are you talking about when you are importing eggs from Brazil? Milk powder from Denmark in all our supermarkets. Our milk has no market. Yes, the price cannot even, where there is market, even the price is as good as nothing. But we have that money to import milk powder and second-hand clothes. 90, they are there in my country, Uganda. You just go there. All textiles were closed. Why? Africa. Africa. God save Africa. What we do better is begging, is fighting, but producing and consuming what we produce, zero. We need, even you see people checking rice, this is not, we want Pakistan. Pakistan rice. Because the local rice is, the rice from Kenya is poor. Even from Uganda is cheap to our class. This is how cheap we are in thinking. We need to start thinking differently if we want to make Africa great again. Please, we need to think differently from now. The way we act, the way we do, the way we think, the way we do our business. We need to think differently if we are to be like other continents. How can South Korea really, South Korea, imagine, South Korea we look at it as if it's used miracle. No, it's a decision. Even if now we can decide as Africans that tomorrow we integrate and we can make it, we can. But do we have that heart? Do we have that mind? No. But the problem is not the common, the peasants. The problem is politicians, the so-called elites, these political parties, the politicians, the leaders of political parties, they are the ones promoting this, the ruling parties. Tribalism and religious differences and that kind of thought. So we need to start thinking differently and unite this continent and be great again. Thank you very much. God bless you.